Good morning, guys. It's Tamara Bennett from Southern Adoornments Decor, and today we're painting something for the teachers. So raise your hand if you are a teacher, have been a teacher, or have a teacher in your family. I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I was a teacher way back in 2008. I actually have a teaching degree from local university, and I taught for 1 year, and then I substitute taught for several years before I finally dove into painting and became obsessed and never looked back. And so teachers are near and dear to my heart, and I know we have a lot of them here in the paint or in our Painters Clubhouse membership. And I don't know what it is. Maybe teachers have a crafting bone in them, but we have lots of teachers in our community. And so I'm curious, how many of you guys watching are teachers yourself, or have a lot of people, even if they're not teachers, they've at least worked in a school. So that's always interesting. Hello, Delaney and Tammy. Good morning, Miss Pam and Heather. Lots of you guys popping in the comments. Tell me where you're watching from. Hey, Miss Deborah. She said, I'm a teacher of 29 years. That's awesome. Let's see. We're also live on TikTok, so y'all don't be shy. TikTok, talk to me. So this design that we're painting says best teacher ever, and it's in the shape of a heart. And in the background of the heart is going to look like a piece of paper. So we've got our lines and our little punch notebook holes and things like that. And so this is going to be super easy to paint. It's kind of like very basic. Let me pull up the picture too, because I can't remember the colors that I'm planning to use on this one. So I'm going to open it up real quick so I can have a reference photo handy.
Sure.
I know. Okay, there it is. So yeah, we've got multicolors on the background that we're going to use for the lettering and stuff like that. This is going to be fun. And we're going to paint the entire background with a sponge. Sad thing about this little sponge is I had to cut a chunk off of it because after our Lola workshop, I accidentally let the paint dry on one side of this. So I had to get my scissors out and cut all of the dried paint off of the sponge. So just know that if that happens to you, don't throw it away. You can still cut it off and keep using it. Susan said, I retired after 35 years of teaching. Well, that is amazing. Teresa said, I'm a retired teacher of 37 years. I knew there were lots of you guys on here. Paige said, a retired middle school teacher, retired in June after 30 years. Well, I'm in good company then. Sheila said you should paint the background a neon color like some of the papers they have out now. Yeah, when I was teaching, we used to send out the neon papers if it was an important paper that we didn't want the parents to miss. Like if it was an important announcement, because paper, the kids come home with so many papers. And the white ones a lot of times get shuffled under stuff and thrown away. So we would print the really important stuff on like a bright orange piece of paper if we didn't want them to miss it. Kathy said I had to cut the hard part off my sponge also. I'm glad it's not just me. Donna says I've taught Bible school. I would say that totally counts. This is best teacher ever, so it could go for anybody who is a teacher, not just school teachers. So to do this sponge painting technique, get your little sponge, make sure it's dry. Also, make sure it's not ones with lots of big holes. These nice dense sponges are great. This is just a car wash sponge from the Dollar Tree that I hacked up into chunks. Thank you, TikTok. Somebody said, I love your shirt. This is an oldie but a goodie from Cotton Chaos, which if you didn't know, they actually have lots of new crafter shirts out right now. And one of them looks like this. It's got the paint splatter all over it, but it just says the word crafter in black. It doesn't say anything about being messy and creative. So it's kind of like a new version of this shirt. And then they have one that says trust the process and has a paintbrush on it. They have one that says nailed it, because when you do a Pinterest project, a lot of times we're like, nailed it. And that can either mean that you did it right or you totally messed it up and you're saying it sarcastically. So look how quickly we can paint this background. Get it completely covered. Once you got it covered, just kind of go over it with long sweeping strokes one last time to get everything smoothed out. And then we're going to dry it. And don't worry about those laser etched lines. I can still see them through the paint. How am I seeing the design now? Because it's got the design laser etched in the wood, you can still see the indentations through the paint. Does the graphite, there's no graphite on this one. This one was just laser etched. If you were using a template, this is a tip for y'all. There's a couple of different ways you can paint this with me. One, you can download the template for $7 in our shop, and you can print it out on your home printer, tape it together, lay it on your wood, trace the heart, and cut it out. The other way is to order a wood blank like this with the design lasered on it, and you would follow the same exact process I'm doing now. If you're cutting out your own, I would recommend you don't trace the wording and all of that on until you have your background painted. So go ahead and cut the outer circle, the outer heart shape, and then sit down, paint the background white, lay your template back on it after you've got all the white done, and trace everything on there again. Does that make sense? Hopefully I didn't confuse you guys. Good morning, Hannah. Hi, Linda. Hello, Mamie. Jerry said everything's electronic here. I don't know about that, Jerry. I do get we have like an app where the teacher can send us messages and stuff through, but I still get a lot of papers. It's one of Charlie's favorite things to come home, open up her folder, and show me all her papers from the day. And they still send home lots of papers that are like announcements and things, newsletter type stuff. Hi, Brandy. Yes, hi, Zoe. Brandy said my daughter Zoe wants to make sure that you are real. Yep, I'm real, Zoe. I can see your mama's comment. That's too funny. I can remember when my daughter Charlie was little, or maybe it was Brett. I don't know. Kids all blur together after a while, and like you can't remember who said what. But one of my kids would look at a movie, and they had a hard time conceptualizing whether what was happening in the movie was real or not. And so they'd say, "Did that really happen, Mama?" And I'm like, "No, no, no. That dinosaur isn't real. It's Jurassic Park. It's a fake dinosaur. It's like a robot dinosaur, and he's just acting for the movie." And they just did not understand. So I get it. Um, Deborah says, from it to be, I'm assuming Deborah was one of the ones that said she was a teacher. She said, "Thank you for being a parent that reads the information coming home." I know some parents don't. But I like to be in the know. I like to know what's going on. Is that the larger size? You ordered the 12-inch. This is, I think I had the guys cut this one at 18-inch. So that's what size this heart is. I know it's hard to tell when it's on my table. So looking up close, I promised you guys you could still see the lines through the wood. Do you see that? Let me show TikTok also. Do you see how you can still see those lines? Okay, it does need another coat though. You see how it's kind of splotchy? So we're going to do it again. Just put a little bit of paint on there. Try to go a little light on the paint because you don't know how much you're going to need, and you can always just add a little more, but it's harder to take it off once you start smearing it with a sponge. So do your second coat, and this might be all the coats that we need. I'm picking it up because I'm trying not to just smear this paint all over my table. Not that it matters. I can clean it off, but I just don't want it all over my hands, and it gets all over my hands when it's on the table. Okay, we got it covered. Now I'm just going to do these long sweeping strokes to kind of smooth it out, get it nice and even. You kind of have to work quickly while the paint is still wet also. Okay, let's try that and see if that looks good. Laura says, "I love your nails." Oh, thanks. They remind me of like lemonade, like pink lemonade and yellow lemonade. But these were the Red Aspen loyalty box for the month of March, I believe. I just got in some new ones today too that are like kind of like a tie-dye. They've got different colors marbled together, and so I'm probably gonna put those on next for Easter. Oh, Kathy, I'm so sorry. She said, "I've got COVID. I have to go home. I'm glad I'm watching you paint." Well, I'm glad you've got something to do. Do any of you guys have any questions? Yeah, you totally should paint one for your daughter. Be a great teacher gift. I know we're coming up on the end of the school year. Our kids get out of school usually around May 20th, May 17th, May 20th, sometime around in there. And so, who knows? Maybe I'll give this to Charlie's teacher. Do you use a regular sponge? Rebecca, this is a car wash sponge, one of those giant yellow ones that I've cut into big chunks. But you can also just use a regular sponge as long as it's got the real dense foam. Don't get the ones with the big holes in them. Okay. I'm feeling like I might almost need another coat, but I don't know. I feel like I can't decide. In some places, it almost looks like it needs a little more, and some places it doesn't. I may actually use a brush to finish it up because I don't want to put another real thick coat on it. I just want to put a thin coat that's going to kind of even things out. Take the lid off of this. So I'm going to take my large flat tip brush. I'm going to dip it in some water, get it good and wet, and then pick up some white paint. And I'm just going to smear this white paint around to kind of put one more really thin coat on there. And I just keep dipping in the water to thin it out.
Do you paint the edge?
No, I do not paint the edges of mine since they're laser etched. I like that crisp black line. And sometimes it can take 2 or 3 coats to cover that thick black line. So I don't. But if you are cutting out your piece with like a jigsaw or a scroll saw and you've just got raw natural wood on the edge, I would recommend going ahead and painting that. It'll just make it look a little more finished. The reason I'm doing this with a brush instead of a sponge for this third coat is I was afraid that I might get it on a little too thick with the sponge, and my laser etching lines on this one aren't very thick, and I don't want to make it so that I can't see them. I'm running out of paint. And I'm continually dipping in the water because I'm thinning this paint out. So that's a tip for those of you who maybe don't have one of these sponges that are painting the entire background white. If you're struggling with getting that paint to smooth out and look nice and smooth and get an even coat, get your brush in some water. Thinning that paint out will help a lot. Stephanie said, I painted the pencil with the flowers last year for my grandkids' teacher. Might use this one, do this one this year. We like to come out with lots of teacher designs. This is just one of 5 new designs that we came out with this past Friday. So if you haven't seen our new teacher designs, head over to shopdoorhanger.com and check them out. There's several different ones. The top seller was one that we actually taught last year in our Painters Clubhouse. And it said, it also looks like a sheet of paper, but it's a different shape. And it says difference maker across the front of it. And it was a really popular design last year. Hannah says, I like to use a paint roller sponge. I've never done that, Hannah, but I would bet that probably gives a nice even coat. Hey, Mary, I'm glad you're here. By the way, guys, if some of you guys are struggling with like what wood to use or what kind of paint I buy or how to use a template, any of those sort of things, like just starting out, there is an ebook you can go and download. I have put a link up in the video description for you, and it's completely free. It's called The Beginner's Guide to Painting Door Hangers. And so go click on that, put in your email. It'll email you a link to the ebook. And you can save that like on your iPad or your computer. I do recommend like using it digitally because there's lots of videos linked throughout the ebook. So there's videos that show like using a jigsaw and stuff like that. So you can click throughout the ebook. Hey, Kelly. Hi, Wavon. Glad you're here. Y'all want to do some happy mail? Hair dryer or heat gun? Which works faster? I feel like a heat gun works faster. It puts out a little bit more concentrated heat than the blow dryer, and it doesn't blow quite as hard. And this one's definitely quieter. This is called the Heated Craft Tool by Ranger. It's linked in my Amazon favorites, and I did put my Amazon link up in the description for y'all also. All right, that looks pretty good. I can still barely see my etched lines. They're there, but they're barely. Let's do some happy mail. What should our question be? What was your favorite subject in school? What was your favorite subject? Since we're doing a school door hanger, tell me what your favorite subject was in school. We're going to pick somebody at random. Dixie says that heat gun's the best thing ever. Amen. Somebody on TikTok said math, history. I didn't really get an appreciation for history until almost college. And I had a really good professor in college who, when he told stories about history, it was really like just listening to stories, and he made it really interesting and easy to remember the details. Kim Mary said, Happy Mail would be nice. I hate checking the mail anymore. I know, it's all bills these days, right? English or grammar. Katie, I have always been good at English and grammar type stuff, but I didn't enjoy it. But I did enjoy taking Spanish classes. Something about language just is so interesting to me. Science, Lori. Okay, our Happy Mail winner is Tanya Smith Barnett. Congratulations, Tanya. I was skimming to see what Tanya's favorite subject was.
Math or art or English?
Art or English. Okay, funny little story about me. I thought I would be bad at art, so I actually didn't take any art classes in high school. Once you got to high school, you know, you could choose a little bit more what you wanted to take and whatnot. And I did not take any art classes in high school because I was like intimidated by it. I thought I was going to be bad at it. Instead, I took 2 foreign language classes because that, which is kind of crazy that that's what felt more comfortable to me than art classes. But I don't know. And it has me wondering, like, you know, maybe if I had given it a shot, maybe I would have discovered this love of painting even sooner. All right, I'm going to paint this line going down the side like it's a piece of paper. Ooh, I did not do a good job staying inside that line already. We're going to paint it red. So I'm using it's about a 1/2 inch wide flat tip brush. And I'm just kind of leaning back in my chair to pull that brush along that line. Leaning back in my chair kind of helps me make a straighter line than if I was to move my elbow or my wrist. So if you struggle with making straight lines, give that a try. I'm not tilting my chair back. I'm just kind of like sitting forward to start the stroke and then sitting all the way back to end the stroke. It gives me more control over making a smooth straight line. Which this is kind of like a school door hanger, so I feel like it definitely does not have to be a perfect line. It can look kind of kidsy, like a kid did it.
We have on the same shirt, don't
we? Do we? She just said y'all have on the same shirt. We didn't even notice that. We sat across from each other at the table before this live. We were both looking at our laptops and our notes. We weren't paying attention to what each other were wearing. That's so funny that we both decided to wear this today. Lori says, I love how you're always willing to give us your trade secrets. Anytime, Lori. All you got to do is ask. Marie says, no surprise here with art. I had 5 art classes my junior and senior year and science. I wish I had taken more art classes, Marie. And it's funny because in college, I took a art appreciation class, which is pretty much an auditorium that's stadium seating in the dark with a slideshow of pictures of art up on the wall where he tells you the story behind each work of art or what was going on in that artist's life when they created that piece. And I loved that class, which is funny because my husband had to take that class also. But back when we took it, we were just dating. And I had to drag him out of bed to get him to college class because he was not committed. This was before he went in the Marine Corps and had any source of self-responsibility. And I would drag him out of class and take him, and he would fall asleep in that class every day because that class was at like 8:30 in the morning, and they always turned the lights way down low and put the pictures of art, and they would play soothing music. One of our favorite songs to this day that they played in that class was Walking in Memphis. And when he would play songs like that, you would just get so relaxed and want to just doze off in that class. Well, the art teacher got really mad at Michael one time because he would walk up the side aisle of the stadium seating, and we were only like 4 or 5 seats over from the edge, and he could see that Michael was like leaned back asleep. He said, "Excuse me, sir. Are you planning on sleeping through all my classes?" And Michael, being the young, like immature, smart aleck, said, "Probably. Why?" He said, "Well, why are you taking this class?" And Michael said, "Because I have to." He was such a little smart aleck. And I'm like, dying of embarrassment sitting right beside him. And he knows we're boyfriend girlfriend because we walk into this class together every day. And he can see that I'm diligently taking notes. I'm interested, right? And he looks at me and goes, so I guess you're just going to let him copy off all your notes after class is over, right? And I said, yeah, probably. I'm trying to help him pass. And I think he did pass that class, but only by the skin of his teeth and because I was helping him. And I think he was failing all of his other classes. So at the end of the semester, he was like, I think it's time for me to go ahead and join the military. Like, I need to learn some responsibility. I need some purpose in life. And it was the best decision he ever made. But it taking him to, and I don't know that we would have survived if I had been taking him with me to college classes all throughout his college career. I'd have probably given up, but it was rough. But we look back on it and we laugh now. Mary says, I took art in school and my art teacher wasn't very good. It was like he didn't want us to be there. No instructions on anything. That's not good. Laura says, I wish I had had the confidence to take more art classes in high school and take any art classes in college instead of accounting. Well, this class was required of us, so we had to take it, but I loved it. And then I also had to take like a theater class. I'm all around must be like an artsy person because that theater class was so much fun. We would like plan a play or like do a skit or something like that. And it was funny because you could tell the people who were in there because they wanted to be and the people who were in there because they had to be. And all the guys that were in there because they had to be were like 6'7" basketball players who were there on scholarship, and I got paired with them, and it was so funny. I don't know. I look back on those days and just laugh at some of the classes and stuff like that, and why they make people take those kind of classes. They aren't going to appreciate them. Okay, we're going to have to paint our straight lines going across the paper now. So rotate your door hanger, and we're going to do just like we did. We're not going to bend our elbow or our wrist. We're going to sit back in our chair. So lean forward. Actually, this is the wrong size brush for this. These lines are a little skinnier than the other ones. So I'm going to size down my brush. Let's try this one. This one's like a 1/4 inch wide. You don't want to go with a wider brush. When you set the brush in the middle of the line, the bristles, when you push them down, let me kind of explain what I'm talking about. So let's pretend for a moment that this was the line we're supposed to paint, and we're just considering whether this brush would fit. Well, when you set it right there, right on top of the line, the width of the bristles is about the same as the width of the line. But when you press it down, do you see how it splays out wider than the line? When you go to pull, those bristles are going to splay out and your line is going to get wider and wider and wider. So you have to use a brush that's just slightly smaller than the line that you're going to be painting. So originally I used a brush kind of like this. And when I hold the brush on top of the line, you can see the brush is skinnier than the red line. And when I pull and flatten it out, it flattens out to almost the width of that line. So that's how you check and see what size brush you need when you're going to paint a long line. Pro tip from Tamara. All right, so this one's about 1/4 inch wide, and I'm using Bahama Blue. And we painted red first because the blue line goes on top of the red line. And I messed up right there. But we can either take our baby wipe and clean it up, or we can just kind of widen that line just enough to kind of camouflage that we messed up right there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just widen that line just a hair. Okay, and I need to go back over this one a little bit. Actually, let's dry it and then go over it again. Leanne says, I want your shirt. Go to cottonchaos.com, Leanne. They have one almost just like this. It says something different on it, but it's the same splatter paint t-shirt. If you're left-handed, well, this should work for you, even if you're left-handed. The process of like pulling your body back to make the line is the same. Oh, you guys like that tip? Could you use a ruler to help get a straight line? I've seen people do that before, Kelly, but I feel like all I end up doing is gunking it all over the ruler, and then it somehow will seep up under the ruler and it won't make a straight line. So I prefer not to do that. I just prefer to sit back in my chair like this and kind of just pull the brush along. Just remember, it does not have to be perfect. This is kind of like got a kid theme element kind of to it. The lettering is not going to look like a kid painted did it, but it's still very simple. All right, I'm going to skip the lines let's see, there's a line here and a line here. I'm going to skip those so I don't get my arm in the wet paint. And I'm going to go ahead and do this one, and then we'll dry it and do the others.
Marie uses a fat Posca pen with a ruler.
A fat Posca pen with a ruler. That's a good idea. I could probably do that if I had a Posca pen in this color, but I don't think I do. Okay, now I'm going to go to the line that's here.
Even Kelly says she sneezes.
Oh, I lost my line. Where is it? If you have a hard time like seeing your lines, put your finger down and kind of like use that as a guide for where you're headed. And sometimes I will look toward the end of the door hanger and find a line. That way you've got something to aim for. I'm just going down through here and kind of thicken it up, because as I trailed off the end here, it's like it starts to run out of paint and you have to go over it again.
Kathy's asking, what is it, the 6 foot or 3 foot rule?
What's the 6 foot or 3 foot rule?
Oh,
Like
I know.
how far you stand back to look at it?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. If y'all notice, it got my line got fatter toward the end there, so I've got to fatten it up further down here so that it's not so obvious.
Marie says she made 50 door hangers for teachers' gifts, so it made
Oh
it faster.
wow, 50 is a lot. I'm sure it did save you some time. Okay, and then we got a line right here, but I got to make sure this line is pretty dry before I start on it. And sometimes you may need to adjust where it is on your table. Is anybody holding their breath while I do this? I feel like I am sometimes.
Dixie says she was.
You aren't even the ones painting it. You're just holding your breath for me. I do that too when I'm watching a movie and somebody goes underwater in the movie. I tend to hold my breath while they're underwater just a little bit, and then I'm like, why am I doing that? I'm not even the one under the water. Okay. Sometimes if you just keep going across it, your line just gets fatter and fatter. So you just have to find a stopping point. Okay. Looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and dry it. Karita said you should have turned the board the other way so you didn't have to watch out for the red paint. Why didn't I think of that? Sometimes I'm smart and sometimes I'm not. I also try to avoid rotating my door hanger too much during a live because I like to time lapse these videos after I do them, and it's easier to do that if the door hanger's not spinning in all different directions. If it kind of stays in the same sort of spot, it makes it a little easier. Kathy was too. It's funny. Donna, the brush always gets fatter on the end because I think the more you pull, the more you're like doing like this, and your bristles go from this to being like completely spread out as you're pulling back. So, keeping in the even pressure would probably avoid that a little bit. Oh, good. Delaney says that tip really helped me keep my line straighter. The more you do it, the better it gets too, the easier. Somebody on TikTok said, I haven't seen you live for a really long time. I love watching. Well, welcome. Come follow me on Facebook and YouTube also, because we do stream this to YouTube and Facebook, and the replays are on there too. So if you have missed a few of them, you can go catch up over there. Okay. Both those colors look good together. This is primary red and Bahama blue. And I just remembered that we forgot our little circles over here. So I'm going to get my Bahama blue again and fill in the little circles on the end of the paper. And I'm not having to freehand these. If you remember, we painted over those laser etched lines, so I can just see those through the paint, and I'm just filling everything in. Hey, Brett. What does it smell like? Brett says it smells like chemicals in here. That's because they're painting our back porch right now, and they're using like an oil-based paint. Hey, Ashton. I'm glad you're here. She said, what are you painting? She said she was busy painting. Tell me what you're painting. You like this shirt? This one's from cottonchaos.com. They've got a new one right now that says Crafter and like a real cute scripty font across it. Go check it out. Trust the process. Yes, Teresa. They actually have a t-shirt that says trust the process also. All right, so let me look at our colors here. We've got the word best that's right up here, and that is in green. So I'm going to pick a green. I really want to use, this is like my favorite green that I've been using lately, jewel green. It's so pretty. Well, aside from Irish moss, but I think Irish moss might clash with our Bahama blue for this project. And then we've got the word teacher in multicolor, and then we've got the word ever in yellow. That's a little more yellowy than maybe just this primary yellow would be a good for the word ever. And then let's see, for the word teacher, we've got a blue T. This is Royal Navy. We have an orange E. We're going to use all the colors. I could use paint pens. I didn't even think about that. I do have a bunch of paint pens in different colors here. Let's see. We could do blue. And we could do orange. And then green for the A. And then the red is a C. C is red. And then we've got a pink H. Although that looks like it's too light. Let's see. What other color pink do I have? I may have to test these out on a piece of paper if I'm going to use paint pens. I know my colors when I'm using paintbrush, when I'm using actual paint, but sometimes using a paint pen, the colors don't look quite what you think they are until you shake them up and test them. Like this probably is way, yeah, that's way more purple than what I want. Let me test this one. And that's way more neon pink. All right, scratch that. We're not going to use our paint pen. It was a nice thought, but I don't see the pink that I want. And so I would rather just get the exact color that I want using paint. Okay, T. And now we got our E. We're going to use a patio paint for that. It'll cover better. The A is a green, and I think I'm just going to use that jewel green again. The C is a red, so I'll use that. The H is pink. Looks a lot like this royal fuchsia color, so I'll use that. And then the E, oh hey, the E is a lime green. We could use the Irish moss for that color green. It's such a fun color combination. And then the R is like a real vibrant blue, teal blue. So maybe like that. I like this color palette. This is cool. All right, we're going to set all these to the side and start with our jewel green. Make sure and lay all your colors together like that first before you get ready to paint, and make sure you like the way the colors look, because sometimes you can have one color that feels like it's bringing the others down, like it's not bright enough. And so you don't want to figure that out after you paint it. You want to figure that out before you paint. All right, we got jewel green here. And I'm going to go with a small filbert tip brush. This is probably a 1/4 inch wide or so. And this is a script lettering that's lasered on the door hanger. We're just going to paint inside the lines here to add this. So it kind of overlaps these little blue letters too. Or blue letters, blue lines. That's what I'm trying to say. If you had a teacher that you had in mind that you were painting this for, if she was using a specific color palette in her classroom, you could even like try to match your colors that you're using on this to her classroom colors. I can't see my comments. Do the etched lines fill with the paint where you can't tell where that they're there when the door hanger's finished? Yes, Kelly. So they're kind of camouflaged. Once you get all the paint on them, you would have to look really hard to still be able to see them. Is the shirt soft? It's not as soft as the Bella Canvas ones. I will say that. But after you wash it a few times, it's softer. Cynthia says, I guess I need to make a cyber trip over to Cotton Chaos and get me a few shirts. Yes, you do. You would love them. What brand are the paint pens? They are Artistro medium tip. These are linked in my Amazon favorites. Marina says, I love how you actually do what you teach by pulling your whole body when you're doing that down the stroke. Because it works, you know, like practice what you preach and do what you teach. I just made up a new saying. Which reminds me, Aaliyah, do you need to get a picture of me painting this lettering? She's been trying to keep up with me painting the different parts of it, and I forgot to slow down here and let her take a picture. We'll have to go over this green lettering again probably anyway, but
I was being patient.
Aaliyah wears a lot of hats for me. She's a photographer. She's a squirrel whisperer. She's a data person. She's our team manager. Jack of all trades.
Babs on TikTok wants to know if you can buy this with it pre-lasered.
Yeah. So yeah, if you want to paint one of these yourself, you can buy it pre-lasered. I like that. I've never heard anybody put it like that. But yeah, we do sell the laser etched wood blanks in our shop. And you can go and get one of those and we'll ship them to you.
Why don't we do a happy mail for TikTok?
Okay. Let's do a TikTok happy mail. If you're watching right now on TikTok, drop me a comment. And tell me like what kind of crafting you enjoy, because I know a lot of you guys follow a lot of crafters on TikTok, and some of you even do crafting yourself. So tell me what kind of crafting do you enjoy, and we'll pick somebody at random to win a happy mail. And if you're watching on Facebook, you can answer too, but we are picking our winner from TikTok right now because we have 149 people watching live on TikTok, and we don't want to ignore them. We want to make them feel loved too. You make door hangers too. Awesome. You're into candles right now. Cool. Are the paint pens water-based? Yes, they are. Wreaths painting. Their comments are flying fast. We're doing a happy mail. Tell me what kind of crafting you enjoy. Pyrography? Is that writing with fire?
Oh, that's wood burning.
Wood burning. Oh, I've never heard it called pyrography. That's hard to say. Digital design, woodworking, tumblers, door hangers, t-shirts, keychains, sublimation. So many of our designs will work for sublimation as well. We sell the templates to these, so you can download the digital file. Digital art, okay. Pins, tumblers, t-shirts. I saw a chick on here on live on TikTok last night making the cute little pins that have like the beads stacked up on top. I was fascinated. I'm like, where is one with a paint pen on it? I mean, not a paint pen, a paint palette.
Love those.
Like a paint palette. Like, wouldn't this be cute? See my earrings? Would this be cute on the end of a little ink pen? Carolyn says, I love everything. Okay, TikTok winner is Tracy Wooten Hayes. Tracy, send us your email or your address, and we'll send you some happy mail. All right, we're going to go over this jewel green color one more time. We don't have to give it like a full second coat, but there are a couple places where the paint got a little thinner on the stroke. So I'm just going to thicken that up just a little before we move on. Don't forget to go and download the Beginner's Guide to Painting Door Hangers ebook. It's completely free. It's linked in my video right now. If you're watching on TikTok, I believe it's also linked in my TikTok profile. All you got to do is go put in your email. We'll email you a copy of that ebook. You can watch it, or you can open it up at home, like on your iPad or your computer, and it even has clickable links to videos and things, and to some of my favorite products on Amazon and stuff that I use for door hanger painting and like all kinds of stuff. So just go check it out. It's a really great resource. It's a lot of information for free. Man, this green color looks black on the screen. Why is that? Let me hold it up this way. Look how pretty that color is. It looks really green. There we go. It looks more green right there. But it looked almost black in the overhead camera. All right, we got best done. So this is the part where we're going to do a different letter each color. So we're just going to have to switch out between each color and rinse our brush. All right, the T is going to be this royal navy blue. I'm not even going to squirt any of this in my paint palette because we're not going to need much at all. I'm just going to dip right in the bottle. And this kind of lettering right here is kind of like a kid print type font. I feel like I got too much water on my brush. It's diluting the blue. So when you're painting this, use a filbert tip brush. The end of it is kind of slightly curved, and you can pull down to the end of the letter, smashing your brush flat, and then lift directly up, and you'll have a much smoother end on your brush stroke. Okay, there's the T. Rinse the brush. Oh, TikTok says it looks green. Yeah, you guys are on, you guys are watching through my iPhone 13, and the overhead camera on Facebook is like an iPhone 8. So the cameras are probably night and day difference in the quality. Okay, what color was the E? It was orange. So this is the patio paint I was telling you about. This paint is more expensive at Hobby Lobby, but it covers so well. So I use it a lot when I'm painting with orange or yellow, because there must have still been some blue. If y'all ever had that problem where didn't wash your brush out very good and blue leaches into the next color you're using, dab it off on a paper towel really good before you start going again. Get that blue out of there. But anyway, this paint is more expensive at Hobby Lobby, but it's worth it if you need an orange that covers really good or a yellow. I don't buy it in all the colors, but mainly just those colors. Okay, there's orange. What was the next color? The next one is red. Oh, we've already got this in our palette. Wash that brush out better this time. And I'm dabbing it on a paper towel each time too, to try to make sure that when you dab it on your paper towel, you got to kind of make sure that it comes out clean. If there's anything on the paper towel, your brush has still got paint in it. So dipping in the red. And I know y'all can't see these letters, but I can barely see them through the paint. So I'm just going to paint inside the line.
Is there a good resource for brush identification?
Yes. Inside the Painter's Clubhouse, we have a video that explains which brush to choose for certain brush strokes, and it kind of demonstrates like what each brush is meant to do. So if you ended up joining the Painter's Clubhouse, go to the beginners section in there and watch that video.
Mention what brand paint you're using. You've talked about Patio, but not the brand.
So Patio is a Decor brand. So if you're the Americana is what I buy the most of. It's more affordable, but the patio paint is intended for outdoor. It's for like if you wanted to paint like a terracotta pot or something, you could use this because it's got a built-in primer with it. Okay, next is a pink letter. So we're going to use, actually, I said I was going to use this royal fuchsia, but I've already got this dragon fruit in my palette, so I'm just going to use what I got. It's almost the same color. This is actually probably a little more vibrant. Because this little silicone ice cube tray has a lid, when I painted live last week, I just put the lid on these paints and put them away. And so these paints are still good a week later, and I can use them. Okay, and then the H is, oh shoot. I painted all the letters the wrong color. This was supposed to be green. This was supposed to be red. All right, we're going to throw in a green one right here. Like a different. Nobody will know. But I'm laughing because I downloaded this. This is like a little side story, but I downloaded this app that's supposed to help you with your brain, like memory and function, and it's supposed to train your brain. And one of the exercises that it had you do was look at the word black and tell if it matched the color shown down below. And it might have the word red, but the red would be shown in black. And I thought I did so good on that, but then I got so confused. I feel like this was the same type of exercise because I was looking at one picture and then doing another thing. The color did not match. Oh, me. All right. So we'll go ahead and use the, I'm trying to decide. So I may just use this Irish moss, even though that's not what this next color is supposed to be.
Well, Bree's making a good point. If you put the green right there next to best, it's going to throw you off.
Right. So I'm almost thinking now that I need to eliminate that color green and maybe throw in a purple or something because we don't have a purple. We could do that. This is how you improvise. Teaching moment. Okay, so instead, we're going to use this purple. This is brilliant purple that I still have in my palette from last week. And I think it will complement these colors quite nicely. Oh, man, y'all. Y'all get the real me all the time. Warts and all. Sometimes things just don't go as planned. But that's how it is when you're crafting and painting. Sometimes you guys may have that struggle too. And so for you guys to see me struggle just makes it all the more real. Letitia said I call this Lucy moments. Like I love Lucy. Pam says I like Aaliyah laughing in the background. Yep, they can hear you. Okay, and then the R we decided was going to be teal mint. Is that gonna be? That's not going to be a contrast enough. I've decided that's not going to be contrast enough to the Bahama blue. Let's go a little darker and go with Laguna.
TikTok wants to know why it's a mix of lowercase and uppercase letters.
Because this is hand lettered. It was designed by one of our designers who is really good at hand lettering. And her style is to kind of mix capitals and lowercase and all that. It's just whimsical. We didn't say it was grammatically correct. It's just for fun. I really like the combination. I think it kind of gives it a little personality. All right, we got to go over a couple more of these letters another time. Do you make dog door hangers? Yeah, we have some dog designs in our shop. Shopdoorhangers.com. The green needs another coat. The purple needs another coat, and the red. But I think the blue is probably okay. I'll touch this spot up here. Sometimes it helps if you dry it before you go and do another coat because it helps the paint to stick a little better. All right. What did I say? The red? And then the green. Hey, Sharon. Glad you're here. Delaney said, I just painted the other teacher board with the apples and put my grandson's teacher's name on it. Oh, I bet she'll love that.
Once you're done, what top coat do you use?
I will probably spray seal this with Decoart's triple thick gloss spray.
Which brush are you using for your letters?
This is a filbert tip brush, and it's really small. It's about a quarter inch wide. And I'm just using the same brush over and over. I'm just rinsing it out between letters. While we're at it, we may as well just second coat all of them because once I get a second coat on some of these, I'm like, oh, well, that one makes the one next to it look a little like it needs a second coat.
Do you have any tips for growing your business? She's been struggling to reach 1,000 for so long.
Let's see. Are we talking about on Facebook? If we're talking about growing your business on Facebook, Facebook's all about reels right now and video. So if you're not making short videos that are like 15 to 30 seconds long, you're probably not going to get much traffic at all. So that's why I said when I make a painting like this, I always take the painting later and make a time-lapse video out of it. So I'll take the video and I will edit it in an app called CapCut. And I crop out the part of me that's on one side of the screen and it's only got this part showing. And I will speed it up and crop out parts where I'm like drying it and stuff like that. And it does take a little bit of time. If you've got any money at all to invest in having somebody else do it, or you just want to save yourself a little bit of time, you can go on a website called Fiverr, Fiverr, and hire somebody for like $5 a video to edit it and make it into a time lapse for you. And that's kind of what I do these days because it's just so much less time consuming for me. It takes me probably 3 times as long to edit the video as it would the guy on Fiverr to do it. And so then you can upload that as a Facebook reel. You could even do a voiceover on it and talk about the project, talk about how this would be the perfect door hanger for you to hang up for back to school in the fall, or you could gift this to a teacher. You know, don't just put music behind it, talk behind it and tell about it. Doing those kind of things will help bring you traffic from people who are not necessarily, I mean, it'll help increase traffic from your current followers, but it'll also help you increase your follower count.
Okay, with your accent, are you saying Pfeiffer or Fiverr?
It's like the word 5, the number 5, with 2 R's on the end.
What do you search in Fiverr?
Video editing for, I would put video editing for Reels or video editing for TikTok. It's the same sort of type thing. And there are going to be people on there who charge $20 a video, and there's going to be people who charge $5 a video. Look for the people who have good reviews. So read some reviews, see what people have said. And also when you send them a video, give them specific instructions. Say, I want all the parts where I'm drying the project, or when I stop and start talking, cut out. Anytime I put a comment up on the screen like this, I want those parts cropped out. And so he knows that now. And now that he's done a few videos for me, I don't have to tell him all that stuff every time. He knows. And so it's just quicker. And so every time I have a video, at the end of the video, I'll go on Fiverr. I'll pay him $5 more to do another video, and I'll upload it. And he knows what I want already because we've kind of have a standing relationship now.
And I would say hunt around. Give somebody a video if you try somebody else.
Yeah. And try more than one person. Don't give up if you have one person who just does a crappy job. Try somebody else.
Do you have a starter class to learn how to paint from, like, beginning to someone that doesn't know?
Oh, that's a great question. So what would you recommend? The Lola project, probably? If you have 0 experience painting and you want to come and paint a door hanger with me, we just did a Highland cow project. Let me grab it and show you. This is one that we just taught in a workshop just 2 weeks ago. And so if you like this project, you could go and sign up to do this one, and you can watch the videos. It wouldn't be live. It's already recorded for you, and you could follow along and paint the project. There's even a kit you can buy. Where would they go to do that, Aaliyah? Do they just email customer service about it right now? I know we haven't got it up yet. Yeah, we're getting it all set up. But what a good spot for you to start would be with that beginner's door guide to painting door hangers ebook. Go download that, watch some of those videos. That'll get you on our email list too. And so you could, you'll get notified when we do another workshop, things like that. If you're ready to jump headlong into this, go check out paintersclubhouse.com. That's our monthly membership, and we do stuff like this in there every single month. All right, y'all are loving this teacher sign. Thank you for the sweet comments. The multicolor words on the word teacher just really elevate it. And I'm kind of glad I made that mistake of painting one of the letters wrong, because I really love the pop of purple on here. It really just, it pulled it all together. What do you think? Y'all like the purple? Hey, Pat, that's okay if you're a little late hopping in here. You can watch the replay. You guys like it? All right, so if you want to paint one like this, go grab the template. If you're cutting your own blank in our shop, you can download it, print it out, trace it on your wood, or if you have a laser machine, it comes with the laser file. If you don't want to cut your own blank, you can get one from us with the design lasered on it, just like this, and you can paint along with this video. So, hit the follow button or add this to like your saved links or something. And then if you want to get the actual color list to this project, text the word list to the number on the screen, And we will be posting that probably sometime next week so that you guys can have a link back to the video and the exact colors that I used. Because after this video is over, I'm going to take a photo of all the colors that I used and get that over to my team so they can make a supply list for us. You love the shirt. CottonChaos.com. I feel like I've said that like 15 times in this video. Everybody really loves this shirt. It's a classic. And if you're a creative, it's for you. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful afternoon. Go grab your free ebook. I'll see you next time.